Well, we're a little bit away from the NFL season, but we are probably wondering who's going to win the division of each of their individual divisions. So I'm going to be going over that. Let's roll. All right, what's going on, guys? My name is Antonio, and this is the All Around Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Antonio. Today, we are talking about each of my divisional winners of each individual division from the AFC and NFC. So I'm going to be going over the East, West, North, and South of each of those conferences on who I have winning each of those divisions. So before we get started, if you guys do enjoy this video, please be sure to hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. For now, let's get this thing underway. First off, I'm starting off with the AFC. So I'm going to start off with the probably the most unquestionable, the AFC West, which not a big surprise to anybody here, which is of course the Kansas City Chiefs, the back-to-back defending Super Bowl champions who have proven time and time again that even with the bad receiver core, they still were able to get it done. But why I have this team winning the division of the West was, of course, because the Raiders, Chargers, and Donkeys, which I call the Broncos the Donkeys for those of you that don't know, I see that they don't be competitive. I do expect the Raiders and Chargers to at least be competitive with the Chiefs, but in the end, Patrick Mahomes and that Mahomes magic he has is gonna end up winning this division, and I'd be surprised if it was someone else. But now we move to the AFC North. Now, I took a lot of debate on this because we know there's a lot of good teams in that division this year, except the Steelers. But I have debated this back and forth, and I was split between two teams. And in the end, I came out with the choice of the Cincinnati Bengals because Joe Burrow's back. He's healthy. I believe he's going to be a statement maker for the team when he gets back. And I do believe that Joe Burrow can lead this team to the playoffs because of the weapons surrounding him. We don't know what's going to happen to T. Higgins. Hopefully he stays there. And then you also got Jamar Chase. You got loads of other guys on that team, including new defensive weapons like Geno Stone and others, which I'm hoping that the Bengals can get to the playoffs this year, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. But now we move over to the AFC South. Now, we know there's a lot of teams in the division right now that are very primed and young, but I am going to go with the Houston Texans here because right now they look like one of the most complete teams in the AFC South. You got new weapons in Joe Mixon and Stephon Diggs on offense, and then also along with Daniil Hunter on defense. And then you also re-signed Dalton Schultz, got another tight end in Cade Stover, who I think is going to be a good tight end in the National Football League. And then you also added on top of like with having Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and countless others. I do see the Texans being a contender in the AFC. I had them early predicted to be the number one seed. We'll see what happens then. All right, so for this next one, I got my little puppy here, little Mr. Robbie girl. So for the AFC East, I might shock a lot of people here because this team said to have their Super Bowl window closed, even by myself. But I'm going with the Buffalo Bills to win the AFC East because let me explain. The Bills have a good receiver core. It's not great, but it's decent. You got Keon Coleman, who is an athletic guy out of Florida State. You got Chase Claypool. You got Marcus Valdez Scantling, also along with like James Cook, Dalton Kincaid, and Dawson Knox. And you also still got a defense with Vaughn Miller, which we know how good he is in the defensive core. But I do think that this team is going to be competitive. I do see them winning the AFC East again. for the fifth straight time. But now we move to the NFC side. So I'm starting off with the NFC East. I'm going to finish it all off with the NFC West. NFC East, I think it's a no brainer here. I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles because they're right now on top of the Dallas Cowboys as far as the division wide race goes because the Cowboys, we all know the frauds that they are. And they also have loads of weapons on the Philadelphia side. You got Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, Dallas Goddard, and many other guys on that offense that can make plays. And you added on top of getting Cooper DeJean and Quinton Mitchell in the same draft, and also along with Jeremiah Trotter, who I think is going to be a great player in the National Football League. But this team is already looking powerful, and they already added on top of it in the draft and in free agency, including getting CJ Gardner Johnson back. But I have the Eagles winning the NFC East because the Cowboys, they're in a secret rebuild right now. But now we move things over to the NFC North. Now, I took debate between the Packers and the Lions. So, after going back and forth, I've come up with the reasoning of the Detroit Lions because even though the Packers proved themselves, I do see the Lions being a tougher team than they were last year. They already added a few other weapons, including Terry and Arnold in the draft. You got DJ Reader, who is a run-stopping machine, and you also added on top of keeping most of your guys on that roster. But as we all know, I don't know Cortland Sutton. Something was going on with him, so he ended up getting released. So, or not Cortland Sutton. It was someone else. Patrick Surtain, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I know it's one of the line players. I can't think of his name at this moment. But I see the Lions winning the NFC North because the Bears, we have yet to see what they can do with Caleb Williams. The Vikings, we don't know what to expect from JJ McCarthy. The Packers, I do expect to be in the fighting area of the the Detroit Lions. But if until it's proven, I have the Lions winning this division. So they'll be back to back North champs by this point in time. I'm predicting. And now we move things over to the NFC South. So I took a lot of debate between all the teams in the division because they're all pretty good, decent teams as in their own individual way. But excuse me. I do believe the Falcons are going to win this division this time because the Bucks, even though they won it the last year, Kirk Cousins is now there now, and he has been a great quarterback in the regular season. He has just yet to show it in the postseason. But I do expect the Falcons to maybe potentially make the playoffs and maybe win one playoff game. But with this offense and the defense that they have around them, this team is looking dangerous because I like their offensive weapons in Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson, and countless others. But it's going to be competitive. You got the Bucks and Saints to deal with, so I'm predicting the Falcons to win this division, and the Dirty Birds reign supreme. And then last but not least, the NFC West. Now, I'm not going to go biased here and say my team, the Seahawks. I'm not going to be biased like that because I'm realistic. And debating between the two teams on top of the Seahawks right now, which is the Rams and the Niners, although the Rams could go either way because Aaron Donald's now gone, I do see the Niners winning the division once again because the Niners, although I expect the Rams and the Seahawks to be competitive with them, I think that this 49ers team is going to be decent next year, but they have to finish the job. They have to go to the Super Bowl and win, or Kyle Shanahan's going to be gone, in my personal opinion, because you play to win the game. You don't play to make the playoffs. Because the 49ers, they have one of the most complete rosters last year, and they couldn't finish it. So they need to get the Super Bowl this time. They have to. There's no excuse this time. There was no excuse last time either. So this time, no excuse. If they can't get there, or they make it and lose another 10-point lead, then Kyle Shanahan is gone, in my personal opinion. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Let me know who you guys have picked for the each individual division and who you have winning all of the individual divisions. But next time we'll be going over my top 10 power rankings of the NFL early into the beginning parts of the offseason of the before September, which we all know is when the season starts. I will be doing another list of that when we get closer. But until then, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Ciao for now.